Hi, I'm Tony Kramer, Product Specialist with RDO Equipment Company. Welcome to the Agriculture Technology Podcast on RDO Equipment Company's YouTube channel.
Every day, there are phenomenal advancements being made in the field of agriculture technology. RDO Equipment Company is a leader in agriculture equipment and precision agriculture technology and is here with industry experts to bring you the latest news and information from RDO and John Deere. Thanks for joining us on the Agriculture Technology Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. This is episode number 107, and today we are going to be talking about lettuce thinning technologies. Before we dive into the show, please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. You can subscribe to the show on the many podcasting apps that we are streaming this out to, such as Apple's podcast app. It's on Stitcher, Overcast, SoundCloud, as well as many others. While you're out there, drop us a review. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. Lastly, make sure to follow RDO Equipment Company on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and catch all of our latest videos on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter at RDOTonyK. Now with that, let's get back to the show. I'm really excited to welcome Bryan Feemster, who is a Product Specialist Supervisor with RDO Equipment Company. Thanks for joining us on the show today, Bryan. To get started, let's hear a little bit more about you and your background and how you got to where you are today.
Thank you very much, Tony. Happy to be here. So basically I started with RDO Equipment Company roughly 7.5 years ago. Started as an account manager in Salinas, and after about 1.5 years saw the growing need for developing the technology side of our operation, and was really intrigued with what was going on in the direction RDO was taking the technology side. So I became a product specialist supervisor and worked with the rest of our team throughout RDO and started really developing our area when it came to technology.
That's great, and you bring up a really good point that the technology is continually adapting, and you took the opportunity to join the product specialist team. Not very different than my path through RDO Equipment. Started as an account manager at our Lisbon, North Dakota location, and I too saw the opportunity on the RDO Equipment product specialist team and made the leap onto that team. So very similar story with the RDO background. Now that we know a little bit about you, Bryan, let's talk about this lettuce thinning. So it's kind of something new as far as the technology goes, the automation of it goes, but let's go back to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about why do we need to thin lettuce?
Traditionally, what happens is the grower plants the field and overpopulates the field with seed. The reason being is it's kind of an insurance policy to make sure that they get the yield that they need, because a lot of times the crops are pre-sold, so they have to have that yield in order to sell to the buyer. So what the grower does is usually plants the seed at about 2 to 3 inch spacing and waits for the plant to germinate. Once the plant germinates, then they have a great idea of what's going on in the field. So traditionally they have a hand crew of about 25 to 50 people that come through and thin the crop out so that they get the desired spacing that they're looking for, such as a 10, 11, or 12 inch spacing. With that, we've seen a decrease in available labor due to many aspects. A lot of it having to do with the younger generation has more access to education at college and are looking to do more skilled technical jobs out there. So labor has been a major challenge for growers. And not only that, the cost to have people out there continues to rise year after year. So with these struggles, growers are looking for ways to combat this and to find ways through technology to make it more efficient, obviously, if possible, less expensive and whatnot. So in comes Vision Robotics, who developed a machine that takes away all of that and takes from 25 to 50 people down to 1 or 2 people that runs a machine that is more efficient and does a better and faster job.
Yeah, and that you hit it right on the head and led me right into the next question. So you talked about the struggles of finding available labor, finding enough labor, but then also the cost that's put into it to pay that labor. Obviously, a lot of people eat lettuce salads, no matter what variety of lettuce you're eating. there's a lot of lettuce that has to be grown out there, and to, like you said, to thin it manually with a hand crew with a bunch of garden hose out there, it's probably a struggle. And that's what we really want to talk about here is the Vision Robotics thinner. You guys are doing something really great out there on the California coast with Vision Robotics and RDO equipment. So let's talk about that. Where did this idea come from, and where are the benefits of moving to that Vision Robotics thinner?
It was very interesting as this progressed with this labor issue. It was kind of a blessing where one of our own regional sales managers found this company, Vision Robotics, and brought them into the RDO equipment company. So we started working with Vision Robotics and seeing the technology that they had and what it could do. So we started testing with them, and we eventually became partners with them. And it's been a great partnership, helping develop, figure out different ways that will fit in the customer's fields, because everybody's running different size beds, different size row of crops. So RDO became partners with Vision Robotics, and we took this machine out and started testing with it to see what it could do, if it could truly help with the situation that we are seeing with the labor crisis. And the very first time we took it out, we immediately saw the benefits of this machine. And we worked with a number of our customers to demo and show and run it through their fields. And from day one, everybody was amazed at what this machine and technology could do.
Let's talk a little bit about the machine and the technology. Tell us how does it operate? What is it pulled with the tractor? Is it self-propelled? And then how does it actually thin the lettuce?
This particular machine is pulled by a 3-point on a tractor. Because the machine is so light, we're able to get in with the 5000 series John Deere tractor. Now, the machine can run on 3 beds. So typically in our area, we're running 3-bed 80s, so 80-inch size beds. And we have anywhere from 5 to 6 seed lines per bed. The machine has a hood, what we call a hood, that contains a computer, camera, solenoids, and lights that runs individually on each line, seed line. And so as you pull the tractor and the thinner through the field, the cameras are taking 20 pictures per second to identify the plants that are keepers and the plants that they need to take out, thin out. With that, it's using LED lights to light up so the imagery that the cameras are seeing has a clear picture of that. And the operator puts in a desired spacing of what they want to eventually have, plant spacing wise. So if they want 10 inches, they put 10 inches in. If they want 11, 12, so on and so forth. And so as the machine goes through the field, the camera determines which ones to keep, which ones to thin, and then sprays a fertilizer through a solenoid and a spray nozzle to thin out those plants. So in essence, the fertilizer is burning out the plants that you do not want any longer. And then there's a secondary spray, if you wish to have, which will spray a beneficial, such as a fungicide, on the keeper plant. So in essence, as you go through the field, you can thin and do your beneficial spray in one pass.
And I would imagine you talk about using a fertilizer to desiccate the plants that we don't want anymore. Is that fertilizer also benefiting the keeper plants?
Yes, absolutely. What we have found through talking with the growers is that when the fertilizer is sprayed, it's usually stops 1 inch before the keeper and 1 inch after the keeper. So after you go through the field and thin it, we typically recommend about a day before you start irrigating to allow that fertilizer to burn the plant. Once you irrigate with sprinklers or drip tape, that fertilizer then goes down into the soil, into the root zones, and provides that fertilizer to those plants. So again, not only are you thinning, possibly putting a beneficial down, but you're also fertilizing the crop all in one pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you kind of answered my last question here about the machine. Tell us about all the benefits that come with a Vision Robotics lettuce thinner.
So the benefits of this machine, not only are you going through thinning and fertilizing and all in one pass, but what we have found running through an ROI calculator with our growers, we sit down with them and discuss, the costs of an operator, the costs of the machine, and so on and so forth, that most of the time we have found that the return on investment of that machine is paid off within 6 months. So anything after that, basically they have saved whatever they're paying in hand labor crews out there. On top of that, you're getting the benefit. The machines are running 2.5 to 3 miles per hour, so we're able to get more acreage done in a day than a traditional hand crew. And like I mentioned before, we're getting a better quality of thinning in the field, because I'm sure, as you well know, when you start working in a field, hour 1, hour 2, you've got a lot of energy. But as the day progresses, 4, 5, 6 hours, you start to tire out, and the job just isn't done as well. With the machine, it doesn't tire out. It keeps going and does a perfect job.
I know exactly what you're talking about out there walking the bean fields or sugar beet fields back in the day. I get what you're saying there. If a customer were to purchase one of these lettuce thinners, where do they go for support?
Absolutely. So with these machines, we have teams set up that support, train, and help manage these machines for the customer. So they would contact us at RDO Equipment Company, and we would be more than happy to work with them. Every machine that is sold comes with our support team. So the customer is not left on their own to figure things out. We have a tremendous amount of experience and expertise on these machines that we can actually call into the machines wirelessly from any computer or mobile device and see what's going on with their machine without having to travel out to the field. And a lot of times we're able to diagnose and figure out what might be going on to save the customer time, downtime, and money in the end. And then if it gets stuck on something like that, then we go out and take care of it. But everything we do with this machine comes with a full support package of our team members.
Now, I know this machine is fairly new. We've only been, you guys in California, Arizona, wherever the lettuce is being grown, you guys have been doing this for a couple years now, but again, it's very new. Do you have any sort of success stories in these first few years that we've been doing this that just really put a smile on your face at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think one success story was one of our very first customers that we went out to. We ran through the field, thinning the field out, and we came back the next day to see how well it did. Because again, it's pretty new to us and also to the customer. And we came out and we found that the machine did such a tremendous job. The customer was so ecstatic. They saw the benefits of it, and they actually took us over to a field next door that was just thinned with a hand crew and pointed out what that field looked like. And it was amazing to see the difference between this machine versus a hand crew out there. And they have gone on and saved so much time and so much money that they continue to buy more machines for their operation. And at this current time, they're running 4 machines from us, and they continue to grow with that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know from my perspective in the Red River Valley, Minnesota, North Dakota, the demos, especially when you can see a side-by-side comparison to the practice that they are currently doing and then whatever machine you're demoing, what its potential is. So yeah, that's a great success story that we do see a lot when we get the opportunity to demo machines. Now, for the customer that is interested in a lettuce thinner, where can they go? Who can they talk to learn more about this tool?
They can contact RDO Equipment Company at rdoequipmentcompany.com. They can come into a local dealership in Salinas or Yuma or Imperial and ask to speak with the product specialist team about the lettuce thinning or any account manager out there, and we can definitely help them out.
Awesome. I just want to thank you, Bryan, for taking the time to sit down with me and talk about the lettuce thinning technologies that you guys are doing out there on the West Coast. It's really cool. I'm so used to the standard commodity crops in the upper Midwest with corn, soybeans, and wheat and whatnot. So it's really neat to learn more about these specialty crops. So thanks again for doing this.
Absolutely, Tony. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks again for listening. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for upcoming podcasts or visit rdoequipment.com/podcast to listen to new episodes and catch up on any that you've missed. You can also listen and subscribe to our podcast on any device or streaming service so that you will never miss out on the latest news and technology from RDO Equipment and John Deere.